unbelievable.
Cool.
Unbelievable. So much easier than a freaking full band setup.
Yeah, it's double the amount of cameras.
We have to
quadruple the amount of inputs.
Oh, should the guys not come? Or
Yeah.
My drummer's out. He's been waiting
That's all right.
outside.
Yeah, we'll whip something up. We'll go with a
Yeah,
simple
it's all-
setup.
it's all
we'll
good,
just-
man.
We'll bare bones.
We'll call it off. Yeah, it's all good.
We did a Halloween episode last week. It was so fun.
It was a
like
great
everybody
time.
dressed up. Everybody's drinking boxed wine.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was great, but it's so much to set that up.
Yeah.
All
It's a
those
lot. We
cameras,
can't do it every
all those
podcast.
microphones.
Definitely not.
Editing that is far from
I don't.
fun.
Multiple like full band mixes, which are fun too.
Yeah, Jackson mixes every
But
single
like
one.
all the
which is
bands play.
Wow,
So
okay.
I'm mixing and mastering
Wow,
like
man.
3 songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
fun though. It's a good
Absolutely.
time. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it's just good to. It's kind of a cool way to work with a band on even if they already have their own kind of setup that they
Yeah.
use, like, or they have their own place where they record. It's like you get a chance to mix a band that you think is cool. you
Totally.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
it's so good practice too. Just like getting bands in, even if it's like it's almost kind of a tricky miking environment too on a podcast.
It's super tricky because like all the vocal mics are
not
pointed
controlled.
at the drum kit. So
Yeah.
there's no like gating it. You can't. And so I have to mix the vocal in a way that doesn't make the drums sound weird,
Yeah.
which is very interesting. Like trying to keep the drums in mind when you're trying to make the voice sound great.
Right.
You know, it's a weird consideration, but it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Then we
So-
had the one group, they had like one of those vocal effect things that's going, as
yeah.
in between. And that caught the drums pretty well.
Yeah.
So
The
like,
drums are like getting auto-tuned.
yeah.
So you're like, okay,
That's
how
fine.
are we gonna work this in?
It worked. You
Um,
made it sound good. That was a
but,
trick.
Maybe
Uh,
that's the new thing. You know.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
Auto-tune
drums.
the
Could
drums.
be making
man.
trends right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Do you
mean,
ever do mixing for your own stuff? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most recently on I put out like an acoustic EP of my older songs that I redid and mixed that myself. And then my record before that, I mixed about half of it. So
gotcha.
Cool.
for like acoustic stuff, I can try and get by. I don't want to do it, but I do it. So
At what point did you hit the brakes on yourself mixing your last record and say, let's bring somebody
Yeah,
in?
that's a moment.
Yeah,
It
where
was-
did you hit?
Well, it started with me having a buddy mix it who's great, and then he did the singles, like I think 3 or 4 singles, and then I did a couple more, and I was like, oh, this is going to be 10 tracks, and financially thinking about that, and one of them was just like a guitar and vocal. And I was like, I think I can do this.
you can make that work.
And so I did that, and then I just ended up doing a couple more, but there were a few with like a lot of elements that I just didn't really want to deal with. And
Yeah.
I knew he would make it sound better than I could. So the ones with like lots of guitars and pedal steel and percussion and lots of vocal stacks, like, I sent those out.
Yeah. Let somebody else.
Yeah. And then this most recent EP, I really just cranked out in my bedroom, and
Nice.
it was just a quick thing. And but going forward, I don't really want to mix my stuff very much.
Yeah.
I'd rather leave it to the people who are good at it.
Yeah.
and,
Who are-
like
do
you
it.
can
Yeah.
you can only do so much,
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
It's good to have the different input too. Just
Yeah,
like getting
yeah.
a different brain working on, because they're gonna hear the snare in a completely different way. Than
Yeah,
you're hearing the
exactly.
Snare, whatever it is.
Totally. So
It's good to
and
just do
my
that.
my place at home isn't treated or anything, so
Yeah.
it's like it's just what you're working with.
What's
Yeah.
your recording process typically like? Is it all at home until you need to get to a studio, or do you try to?
Well, lately it's been all at home pretty much, and then I'll hire out, like I'll have a buddy play pedal steel or something, or cello or whatnot, and remotely.
Yeah, just let them do
I
it.
did some stuff in a studio last year, like track acoustics and a few random things here, but at the moment it's just self at home. Yeah, and so it's been working. I'm trying it out. It won't always be how I do it. I think if I have more full band sounding songs, I want to take those somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, for what I'm doing like right now, it seems
It's
to work.
working. That's
so,
great.
Or
It's working for a lot of people right
see
now.
if
It
it
totally
works.
is.
We've had,
Yeah.
I mean, Pump Action came on. They do everything at home. Jed Harrelson does
Jed,
everything at
I thought of
home.
Jed, yeah.
Adam Paddock does everything at home.
Nice.
Like so many
Yeah.
of the bands that Shani and them, they record everything at their place. And
It's you got to know a lot of stuff.
yeah,
to be able to make that work, and just mixing alone.
Yeah.
obviously,
I don't claim to know a lot of stuff. Let's be clear.
to be clear. Yeah.
You stumbled into
I
some
tinker
things, maybe.
until I think it sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. How'd you learn? Like, was it just learn?
Well, I've been
the
working
job?
in Logic for probably 10, 12 years. I feel like since college or before college, and various bands and various projects, and making pop music, making indie stuff, making folk kind of things. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable in that environment.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's just been years of doing that, recording myself. That helped me learn to sing a little better. I think it's just tuning myself, comping myself, recording myself,
And just singing in a different environment.
Yeah.
'Cause singing live is totally different than singing in a studio.
Well, yeah, and you listen back and recording. There's nothing.
Yeah, you hear
Can't really
every
hide
little,
it, so you hear it all, and you're just like, oh man,
It is amazing. Like
It's
even
rough.
when you're recording the vocal itself, you're like, oh man, I crushed that. And then you listen back and it's just like so pitchy, or like or your voice sounds kind of like there's a weird tone in your voice. You're like, I didn't intend for that to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds weird.
Yeah.
Dude, the pitchiness that's a tricky part for me. Holy
It's humbling.
heck.
It is
totally.
quite humbling. I
It's
will
very
say,
humbling.
yeah. So many years of doing that.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
So when you started playing out, were you where were you based, or where were you?
I'm from Arizona, so I moved here about 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
So not maybe 2.5 years ago.
And you stayed in Arizona pretty much.
Basically, yeah. I grew up like very southern Arizona, like south of Tucson, and then I went to Arizona State in Phoenix, and so I lived there for 10-ish years. But yeah, I've been based there most of my life, and I came out here a couple of years ago. But yeah. So I gigged for many years, basically since college. I've done music full time, to some degree.
Yeah.
So I haven't had like a regular job, I guess you would say. So I taught guitar lessons for a while. I wrote custom songs for people.
Oh, that's fun.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Joel's into that too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We done a lot of that.
Was that via Fiverr, or did you have something else that you?
It's called Songfinch.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So did a lot of that. But yeah, and then was in various bands, played for various artists, and yeah. It's been a long road of doing that since college. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joel, who we were talking before,
Oh, Joel.
Joel's our mutual, Joel Guptill.
Shout out.
Is he on the same site? Would you say Songfinch?
Songfinch. Yeah.
Is he doing the same?
I believe he was. Yeah.
kind of deal. The way he described it is like people would be like, "Hey, can you write me a birthday song that I can put over?"
Oh yeah,
this?"
birthdays, weddings, breakups,
Breakups.
bar mitzvahs.
Wow.
What have
What's
you?
like the turnaround time that?
It's
common?
usually like a few days, so pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they just want a vocal acoustic most of the time?
Sometimes, I mean, some of mine were more built up.
Really?
Throw a shaker in there if I'm feeling
let's
bold.
get a little percussion.
I'm feeling crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, tambourine. I don't know. But yeah. So did that for a bit, which was interesting.
It's super cool.
A good exercise, I'll say.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
I
I was
bet it
gonna
made you
say.
a great song, or a better songwriter than you were before.
Yeah. And I mean, definitely like people reached out and were like, oh, play this at my wedding or whatever. And that's really cool. So
that is super cool.
Yeah, you never know. It's gonna come up.
The
impact that some of that stuff had was
no,
probably
totally.
amazing.
You don't always know, and but that's just like all the roles you have to fill as a musician these days. I mean, just get in,
Just
get in
how
wherever
can I
you
make
can,
money
man.
off of
Like,
this?
try and find work and stuff like that.
I've
So.
been thinking about that a lot lately. I was watching an Andrew Sheps interview the other day, who is a famous mixer. And he was like, after I mixed the Adele album, I was out of work for 6 months. He said I had to take a side job as Andrew Sheps because he had, it sounded, the way I heard it is that he had no work coming in. And it's like, you got to walk this weird line between choosing to do one exact thing very, very well, like what he does with mixing, or like, are you spreading yourself too thin by taking other side jobs like that, which you need to do?
Oh yeah.
So it's like this weird in between that you kind of got to walk. But it's also like the more you have multiple streams of income, the safer you are too.
Right.
True.
Because maybe you do an Adele album and everybody assumes you're too busy, so they never reach out, and then you're totally out of work.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird thing you got to do. But
it is, yeah.
I mean, doing stuff like Songfinch too, like you're gonna become a better musician too, working on deadlines and
Well, speaking
writing that
of
way.
multiple streams of income, you've got a clothing company.
I do, yeah.
So I was checking it out, and
Okay.
I'm excited to see. Like, I love the vibe of everything.
Oh,
it's
thanks.
Very,
Great.
Thank
you. Yeah, it's basically it's called COYOTE CLUB for everybody listening, and it's kind of an homage to my roots of the desert.
Yeah, for sure.
And kind of embodying this spirit of like a
Western,
like a retro. Not a biker club, but like a club for creatives and musicians and artists and people, my friends and I. Like I always wanted to make clothes and make apparel, and I love vintage clothing, and I already buy a lot for myself. And so, it just kind of last year became a thing where I had that name in my brain, and I just made a couple designs, and I just kind of went for it and started making stuff and giving it to friends like at first and not really thinking too much about it.
One of one pieces.
Or 10,
Oh, cool.
Or just like really small batch stuff.
Yeah. What stuff were you mostly making?
Making hats and shirts, basically.
Okay,
I mean, super original concept.
No, it's cool.
Just kidding.
I don't know if you were in there sewing up jackets or.
Well, I want to. My sewing capabilities are not quite where I'd like them yet. So I need some help in that. That aspect.
You need to get the sewing skills.
That's
all right.
Yeah. But trucker hats and I find these like blank vintage, or old used shirts and sweaters and stuff, and I'll screen print those.
That's cool.
Distress them. I'll wash them in salt for like a week.
Really?
To soften them. Just whatever different things to kind of
create
give them
that.
a lived in and really comfy feel.
Yeah.
And those are all one of one because sometimes they don't have a tag or there's it's just that one size. And so I've been doing really small like releases of those online, and then I'll do vintage markets and stuff here too.
Yeah,
but,
I saw that on y'all's description on Instagram.
Yeah, so I started doing hosting a market at Carter Vintage Guitars.
Yeah,
so
that's super.
Their new location.
That's a cool collab to have.
Yeah. I love everybody there, and we've been doing. We've done a good amount, once a month basically, and it's been really fun, man.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
That's like my little departure from music on my mind all the time, and just like kind of a little passion project of just, it's just me at the moment, so it's a little. It's not growing as much as fast as I would like it to. Yeah. But it's just my love of like fashion and doing stuff. And I just want to make cool stuff for my friends and I to wear, basically, is the ethos of it, I would say.
Sick.
Yeah.
So it's great to have non-musical outlets of creativity.
It is,
for sure. Like,
it is.
I haven't done much, but I've dabbled with like painting. You
got a piece in your
we've got
kitchen, right?
we got several pieces in
got
my
a nice
house of
piece?
originals.
Come
and,
on now.
That's beautiful.
People see them and they're like, "Hey, this is cool. Where'd you get this?" I'm like, "I painted it."
Hey, come on.
That's awesome.
It's
Man.
what
I've only
I
done
it's
like
what I do.
3 or 4, but
Humble brag. I love it. Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, it's a fun like to do anything that's non-musical. It's like
it's like not an escape, but it's like a
It's just like
a breath of fresh air, but not a breath of fresh air.
You're using the same part of your brain, but a different part of the same part of your brain.
Well, and it's especially important when I've realized when the thing you love to do is also your way of making income.
Yeah,
it's really hard to kind of toe that line where
take some magic out of it.
It's easy to get burnt out. It's like you have to really work to keep the joy alive sometimes, I feel like, with it. You know, when there are ups and downs in this career and when things maybe aren't going so great and it's like, oh, this is my job, but also it's what I like to do in my spare time. And it's like really, I've definitely struggled with it where you just go through periods of being discouraged but it's all about trying to get back to that like childlike thing of where you picked up this instrument. Yep. What was all that? You played it for 5 hours every day and all through high school and middle school.
And it was just fun.
Yeah, and there was no expectation behind it. No, like, oh, I need to make money. Oh, so I think you really have to like be careful with that, and you have to keep that alive. And so that's why it's nice to take your mind off it sometimes and do other things. And my dad is actually an oil painter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I grew up drawing and painting a little bit. Yeah. And and then just music kind of took over.
Do you still do it from time to time?
Not a whole lot. I've gone oil painting with him a couple times. Like we'd go out to Sedona or somewhere and
cool.
canvases and I got a lot of work to do. It's pretty hard, man. It's really, I have a lot of respect for what he does, and I mean he's been self-taught and been doing it for 40 years, 50 years or something. So
fun.
Yeah, so that's great, man. I think
I'm actually terrible at drawing. So any art that I made is just like vibes based, like colors and stuff like that. But it's fun, it is a fun
That's
little.
a very Jackson sentence.
Vibes and colors.
Vibes based, vibes, colors.
I'm usually going for vibes for this one.
Yeah, that's like everything.
It works though.
Yeah,
it works.
That's great, man.
Vibe is important.
There's
Absolutely,
There's a lot of similarities between painting and music too. Like I feel like I make kind of electronic-y music in Ableton.
Okay, yeah.
It feels like a canvas. Like
it
starts out blank, and then you add like, oh, maybe I'll add a bass track, and then you layer it up, and then fortunately you can take away layers, unlike painting. It might be a little more tricky that way. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities.
So many. It's all colors. All your different guitars are different paintbrushes, and it's like I mean, you're just throwing things together.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can tinker with it way too much, as we all know, and you ruin it. You got to just strip it back.
Take everything back away. And
I'm trying to get better at that these days.
It's hard.
Less is more.
It is tough because when it's yourself, when you're listening back to yourself, you see, you look for gaps that aren't necessarily there because you're like, what I'm doing isn't enough. When you can listen to somebody else's song that's drums, a bass, one acoustic guitar track in their voice, and you're like, this is all that this song needs because it's just perfect.
Totally.
And it's just hard to you have to take away your own ego a little bit and just be like, no, it's okay.
And a lot of the times the things you're noticing and nitpicking about in your song or your voice or whatever, like no one's paying attention.
Has
any idea. Like you're like, oh, what do you like better, this take or this take? And they're like, they sound exactly the same.
Right. Totally.
Like the poor producers I've worked with, it's just like, 7 vocal takes, just like, which one do you like better? It's like, man, they sound exactly the same.
They all sound the same. So it's funny.
You gotta have a really finely tuned ear. Like when you watch the really good mixers, they're like, listen to that. And they turn the plug-in on and off to huge difference. Like, Right. It's in there. Like something changed, right?
The one for me is like, even as a mixer and like audio engineer, I still am not very good at it, is the preamp shootouts when they're like this preamp versus this preamp. Like I can hear subtle differences, but people will start describing what a preamp sounds like. And I'm like, you can't hear that. There's no way. There's
got
no
more
way.
shimmer, dude. No, listen. You just don't hear it.
Yeah, no, these drums definitely sound like they were recorded through an API. Like, no, no, they don't. Come on. You don't know that.
Yeah, man. I got to draw the line somewhere. I can't. I'm not that knowledgeable about that stuff. I mean, I do it to a certain extent, but I work very quickly, man. Like I don't labor over a sound forever, and especially these days, like doing the more folky 70s kind of stuff. Like I'll do 1-2 takes, maybe. It's like a guitar. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm letting it live with a little imperfection. Yeah, and
you're not gonna beat it to death.
Yeah, and I have to work fast, and even if I'm doing like a pop track or something, it has to be like, otherwise I lose the spirit and the vibe of like what if you have an idea, you have to like get it going quick and get, even if it's just close, you can always change it later. Like, but you have to get the vibe and the feeling of it while it's still like in the air.
Capture it.
Yeah. So I have a hard time like sometimes in studio situations where it's like an hour to get a snare drum sound or like
you lose it starts to get excessive.
I'm just like, all right, it just I lose the speed, So I like to work quickly and I'm trying to get better at just the first thing, the demo, the first iteration of this thing is oftentimes where the spirit of it lives, even if it's not technically perfect.
I always think that like you can tell when someone's rehearsed like a speech, as opposed to if they're just like talking straight off the dome.
Yeah.
Like you can tell just because they've gone through it 30 times in their head. You can tell that there's Steven Tyler talked about that. Like when he's in the studio, he is like, it's hard to make it sound like every take is the first take. Because that first take is magic. Like that's where most of the emotion is. And as a producer, that's usually what you're trying to capture.
Definitely. And I feel like with me, after 3, 4, 5, like, I don't think it's happening.
Then you start to overthink
it. And even with like kind of making videos for Instagram and TikTok and stuff, like, you know, doing covers. Yep. I used to, oh my gosh, I'd do 10 and I'd be like, they all suck. Yeah. I'm pitchy right here and I have to do another. And it's just, you know, it's too much. Like, so now I try, and if I don't get it in like 2 or 3, I'm just like, maybe another day. Yeah. Or maybe I'll do something else.
Right. Do you have like kind of that approach to overall to putting content out, or do you have a little bit more of a strategy when it comes to like when and how you're posting?
It just depends, man, because sometimes I'll go on a trip or somewhere, I'll go to a cabin or something, and I'll, in that space, create a lot of stuff and film many videos. And so I'll parcel those out. But I don't like really schedule things like to, you know, I don't like, it'd be much easier to, but I don't schedule like a week of posts or anything. I always do it in the moment, live. I'm just like, but it is a thing every day. I have to think, you know, I don't have to, but I think about that every day, and I try and post every day, and it's very much a consuming activity.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to that point, but it's like, it's so hard. I'm just like trying to get any bit of knowledge I can from anybody I talk to. I'm like, how are you doing it? Like,
I think
that's interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been posting covers online forever and posting on TikTok forever, and but what I've learned, I think, is some of the ones that do the best for me, or most of the ones that do the best, are the ones that take 30 seconds. Like I was telling you.
Yep, spur of the moment.
Yeah, with that guitar one. And so the ones that I edit for an hour and I labor over, like, those don't really do it. I mean, and so it's just like you're catching that spirit, catching that lightning really quick. And I think overthinking it and over trying to perfect it is not the answer, for me at least. Like,
you're not the first person to say that on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like I'll film something in 30 seconds and that's it, and I post.
What's going on, everybody? I'm interrupting the podcast because I've finally launched what I've been talking about on this podcast for a very long time, Groove MPL, Groove Music Production Lessons. This website is focused on 2 main things: how you can use Ableton on stage as playback, and independent music producers in Nashville. How do they do it? How do they get clients? How do they work out the contracts? So every month there's a new course available on the site, and we got courses like Adam Leeds diving into how he has been able to produce for just monster artists here like Starlito, Young Buck, and a bunch of different artists. We got the drummer from Maggie Rose, Timothy Burkhead, showing how he uses Ableton and his SPD pad to control the live show and have it run seamlessly. Austin Cannon, who's breaking down how do the contracts work between you and the artist. These courses really are here because they cover topics that are hard to find, and they're important topics that are necessary to get you from point A to point B. That information in between shouldn't be hard to find, and having it in one central location I think is super important, so I'm very excited to share it with you all. Again, you can sign up at groovempl.com with the discount code GGP for Garden Groove Podcast, and you'll get 50% off your first month. I'm looking forward to meeting you all. What were you saying? I was so excited about what I was going to say. Oh no, but I gotta remember. When people are looking at your Instagram as an artist, they want to see the real you. Like when I follow an artist that I like, I don't want to get what I'm already getting, right? Like I don't want to get another smaller vertical version of their YouTube, right? I want to see who they are. Yeah. So it makes sense that Instagram wouldn't prioritize, the very well done YouTube-y stuff. Like that's what YouTube's for.
Yeah, and I mean, even YouTube is doing now once like shorts like vertical videos.
Oh, dude, everybody, do you do Spotify Shorts?
Not yet. I haven't even looked
Jackson
at that.
Talking about those.
Spotify Shorts. Okay, so
how many things do I got to do, man?
You got 5 different ones you got to post to. Spotify Shorts is a TikTok format where they play clips of songs, but the thing is it's all hashtag based. So there'll be a hashtag like hashtag indie rock. Okay, that's a pretty normal one. But then there'll be like #warpcore, and you're like, what is warpcore? And then you click on it, and it'll be all these bands that are like all this one particular, like, there's something, every band has like a guitar that's really, I don't know, going through a vibrato pedal or something. There's like always like one sonic element that has all of these things have in common. And so I guess there's like probably a way you can get creative with tagging your music.
I'm sure
that you can get it sort of associated with other bands. And then if people slide through there, then they come across you maybe. I was using it for, I was using it for inspiration, because I was like, oh, I'm really trying to make this song. I had a song, I was like, I want it to be real surfy, but I want it to be kind of psychedelic at the same time. And so then I'm like looking at these different tags of like psychedelic and #surf. And then you go in and you've got all these bands that are like, you can catch like a snippet of the song. You go, okay, there's a vibe that I want to go for or something. Wow. But it's interesting. I don't know what it's going to evolve into.
Man, I can't keep up sometimes.
Yeah. I kind of hope it doesn't work. So
I feel like it's a system you can game,
Yeah, I mean,
somebody's going to, for
right?
sure.
Somebody's going to. I mean, you do have to take advantage of the new platforms that are coming out, because like, maybe that is going to be the next thing. The people that do blow up first usually blow up the most, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, that's true. Also, though, I'm tired. I'm just
we're all tired.
Dude, it's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Do you remember the one app? It was just audio, and you had to be invited. Clubhouse.
Do you remember that?
It was like 3 years ago, and you had to be invited to it, and it was just audio. So Wendy's made an account, and they just put like a microphone on the grill. Like, I don't know, like, here's us grilling. Like, what do you want? And then it was good for podcasters. Like, you could tune into a live podcast, but it just like tanked.
Yeah, I never got on into that one. I had it, but I never got into it.
Google Plus, that one.
I never did.
Oh yeah,
remember Google Plus?
R.I.P.
Yeah, rip.
Man, I had some good stuff on there.
Yeah. So, when you're posting, are you doing? I know you do a lot of covers. So, are you peppering it with originals? Do you have like
trying to,
when you're dropping a single, you're doing kind of the post the original?
Unfortunately, pre-save my song.
It works.
I think so, maybe. But yeah, I basically earlier this year released a record of covers, so that has been the MO for the most part.
That kind of goes hand in hand with the live performing them.
Yeah, and the idea was like doing these songs had done really well on TikTok and stuff, and it was an idea to maybe get some of those people to Spotify, to other areas to listen more actively. And it's been great so far. And so that was the thing where I mixed about half of it.
Gotcha.
It was 10 songs, and recorded basically the whole thing.
Nice.
Myself, produced myself. So, but yeah, peppering in original stuff too. And especially like I have a new single coming out from the next record this month. So
cool.
So that will kind of shift a little bit. But I love covering songs. I mean, I love the music of the 70s. I love guitar playing. I love all these bands that I play a lot of, and it's kind of grown an audience out of that, which is really cool. And just appreciating that music and trying to keep it alive to one degree or the other.
Yeah.
I've played covers for many, many years as a job. I still do. I still play hotel lobbies. I still play private events, all that kind of stuff. And but I enjoy it. There have been times I've been tired of it, but I'm still playing music, and I know people who look down on it and like, oh, I'm an original artist and stuff like that. Right. And I get that, I guess, but I also just think early on when I did it, I would play on the street. I'd busk, on the side of the street and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, I'm getting paid to play for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm making money just practicing. And I mean, just so many years of doing that. And so now I see it as like, oh, I can try out a new song I want to learn, or I can try something. And I loop a lot. And so I just get to play guitar a lot. And I mean,
there's got to be something so fun about having a song that you love and then getting to produce it again.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
Like half the battle, you can have a really good time throwing together sounds, but then you're still battling like we've been talking about, just the song itself, and your insecurities about it. But then when you remove that, it's like, oh, cool, I get to make this song again.
Yeah. I really enjoy it, man. And I've been lucky enough to find a lot of people online who resonate with that stuff and like that, and follow along with what I do. So that's really cool. And, you know, I know between in town here, a lot of musicians, you know, it's like in our circles, you know, it's like you're talking about your day, right, at work. And it's like, oh, okay, got to make another video. But at the end of the day, it's a really cool thing, I think. And we maybe forget that sometimes in the throes of doing it.
Yeah.
You're just finding new people that I don't have to leave my house and I can reach, you know,
so
100,000 people or something like that. It's crazy, man. And so I'm just happy to be doing it. Like,
it's a good attitude.
I think making a living from music in any degree, any aspect is a win. And it's easy to lose sight of that sometimes living here, surrounded by people doing amazing things all the time. And every time you go on your phone, oh my gosh, they're on that tour. Oh, they played that show. It's just like, wow, I suck. I'm not doing anything.
Totally. So, they got nothing.
It's really important, especially for people when they first move here.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a totally foreign feeling. Like a lot of people that didn't grow up here, that's a new feeling that you got to figure out.
Yeah.
Because they're everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely, shop, I mean, I still am figuring it out. And but it definitely was an adjustment to where like, this is a bubble and you forget that you're in a bubble where.
Right.
And most places in the world are not like this, you know? And
it's a cool place to be. Like you have, you'll go to the coffee shop and like the table next to you is talking about like music management and the other people are talking about songwriting. It's cool. Like out in Colorado, that wasn't a common thing,
right?
Like we got our good friend Katie Mintle. Shout out Katie Mintle. She's still in Boulder, and she's like, I'm trying to find a band. And like, oh yeah, like is it hard? Like is it hard to find people? She's like, I can't find a bass player.
Right.
Oh, geez.
It's like a foreign concept.
Yeah, imagine that, right?
Like I act legitimately, I could go to a few people on this street and like fill that
you can knock
need.
on doors, you'll find somebody
Yeah,
pretty
totally.
soon. Yeah.
It's not hard at all.
It's just a cool place to be. Very fortunate to be around it. I think, the attitude that you're saying is important.
Yeah, I think it's easy to lose sight of it sometimes, and just being grateful to be able to do it to whatever degree. I mean, I have a lot of goals, and it's great to be ambitious and be like, I want to get here and here and here.
Yeah.
But also, the older I get, I'm just like, man, it's got to get back to the basics of why did you start doing this? Why do you like playing music?
You can get caught up yearning for things,
exactly.
and then forget to like stop and smell the roses.
Exactly. And so I think thinking about that resistance and like just what ways in my life can I do things that feel free, feel joyful, feel like easy, right? And not like I'm pushing my head against the wall, which I have done for so many years, you know?
Yeah.
So,
You can feel it too. Like you can feel when you're doing something that like you shouldn't be doing, like something that you're not interested in. It feels like there's resistance to it.
Right.
Like, there's some side jobs that I've had to get that we were talking about before the podcast started. Like it's just like you can't get into like a flow with it. Like you're just not interested in it.
Yeah.
But when you're like, I'm sure when you're songwriting or when you're playing guitar, or when you're mixing or whatever it is, or playing on stage, it just goes by so quick.
Yeah.
It's just like there's no resistance. It's just easy.
And it is. And it's like you live for those moments where, you know, if you're on a tour or something, all day you're in a van. And it's not the most luxurious thing. People think it is. It's absolutely not.
Sucks. It's horrible.
But it's all for that moment where you are on stage, right? And so
Yeah.
it's searching for those moments of like, this is why I do this.
Right.
It's really important, I think.
Touring specifically, you'll be like, there's no way I'm going to even have a good time. I feel so shitty right now. And then you get up there, you start the first song, you're like, this is good.
Exactly. So a lot of early flights and canceled flights and just sitting at airports and getting up early. But
so when you first started playing, were you always sort of into the 70s inspired folk thing, or did you go through a lot of different periods of genres and stuff?
I definitely went through many periods.
Yeah.
I mean, but the first stuff I did listen to was Abbey Road, was Neil Young. Like my dad would play that growing up. And so I was introduced to that, I think, first. And then in middle school, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. Started playing guitar, basically, in middle school. And so all those riffs, all that crazy guitar playing, Stairway to Heaven, etc. That became like, whoa, what is all this? I mean, so there've been many phases. That evolved into high school, into Blink-182, and that was all consuming for many years.
Yep.
Right?
The pop punk phase.
Green Day, Blink-182. Yeah, I mean, so, and then there were so many, and it continued on in college, or right before college, it was like, oh, John Mayer.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Light Is. Live, you know.
I saw your cover of Neon.
Yeah.
That didn't go unnoticed.
Thanks, man.
It's a tough one.
So I think it's just been a series of all these obsessions where I've unlocked something new. I've been like, oh, wow, what is this? This is so different. But it did start with that 70s kind of stuff. And it did start with the Beatles and Neil Young and Van Morrison and the Stones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What is it
kind
now?
of circled back.
What's that?
Sorry. What is it now? What are you into now?
It's back to that, I think. I mean, I'm into many things. But
Gotcha.
You've been doing a lot of 70s.
a few years,
folk-ish.
yeah. A few years ago, I used to do a more indie pop kind of 80s project. But a few years ago, kind of around COVID, I started releasing things under my name as like just a singer-songwriter and stripping it down to just acoustic-based stuff and trying to, really getting back to like, if I'm at home and I pick up a guitar, what do I want to play?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that. And I love pushing my boundaries and exploring new things vocally and artistically. But I think that for me is just like, I want to make just stuff that feels good and is chill and you can put on a road trip and you can, the thing like when I put on like an Eagles song, right, on a trip or something. And that kind of timelessness is what I'm chasing, I guess. And the past few years, I've just really dove back into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Super deep. And it's just kind of like what I really love. And
Yeah.
So I'm trying to embody that somewhat in my own stuff.
Sure. It's like, whenever you're thinking about the type of music that you want to make, I feel like regardless, there's always that initial thought that most people have where they're like, where would I be listening to this song? And what was, as you were describing that, it immediately made me think of the final scene from Dazed and Confused when they're going to the Aerosmith show. And they all got tickets, and, and it's like it's like the next morning and it's like 5:30 in the morning, sun's coming up, windows are down, and they're driving to the Aerosmith show.
Oh
like,
That's been a while.
It's like,
so true though.
Yeah, it's like where do I want to be when I hear this song?
Yeah, man. And just knowing yourself too, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. And I think for me over the years I've realized like I'm not like a crazy powerhouse singer. I don't think I'll ever be, but I have a nice texture and I think I can do things in a way and convey a message in a way that works in like an acoustic guitar or electric. But, right now I'm just really excited by what I'm doing. And like, I'm just going to chase that. And I want to make, I want to make stuff that feels like it could live in that world.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a modern take on it. So
Nice.
Well, do you want to play one?
Sure, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. I think I need. Well, I thought this song would be fitting. This is one is unreleased. I just wrote it pretty recently. Recorded it, but it's called Garden, and we're on the Garden Groove podcast.
Look
so
at that.
I thought I had to do it. It would be an unforgivable offense to not play it, I think. But yeah, this is a new one that's going to hopefully come out soon, whatever that means. Cool. But yeah, it's called Garden, and it goes like this. You took a trip to the coast of Spain, said you had nothing to lose. I wrote a letter just the other day, but it hasn't made it through. Saw your picture on a screen, looks like something from a dream, but I'm still here in Tennessee. Wish I was a wealthy man, do anything to get your hand, but all I have is a melody. Honey, I could love you, sipping wine by the ocean. Never have to go back where you came from. You write your novel, and I'll go garden. get a flight to California to see a friend you used to know. You said you always feel you have to get away, but I'm here missing you the most. I saw your message on the screen, wish you were laying next to me. Someday I'll take you to Italy. Wish I was dealt a better hand, do anything to be your man, but no good heart is ever free. Honey, I could love you, sipping wine by the ocean. Never have to go back where you came from. You'll make the coffee, and I'll sing an old one. You'll write your novel, and I'll grow a garden.
Are you self-learned guitar?
I am, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I mean, I played jazz band in college, but
nice.
yeah, not really formally trained. I took music in college, but again, basically self-taught. Yeah.
If you're doing jazz band in college, that stuff is hard.
In high school.
In high school,
band.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. And I couldn't read music. And so I would just literally like listen to the song or read the chords at the top of the, on the chart.
Yeah.
It's just like, I couldn't read music. So
we had a crazy good guitar player in high school jazz band. He made All-State.
Okay.
Davis Conklin. Shout out Davis Conklin. But just like the chords that you gotta do and like moving from one to another, like it's hard stuff.
Totally.
Soloing over that is a whole
Oh, it's a whole beast, man.
That's a whole deal too.
Yeah.
Did you ever do freelance guitar, or did you? Has it always been singer-songwriter stuff?
Like playing for somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done it for many years, and here I play for quite a few artists.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I do a lot of sideman stuff actually.
Yeah, awesome.
Especially since I moved here more than I ever have. I mean,
fair.
You know how it goes. But yeah. So I basically split my time like doing my own stuff and then that also. And so touring with various people, and I toured with a group from Arizona for many years, and so I'm no stranger to playing for other people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who are some of the bands?
So the band in Arizona that I worked with was an alt rock group called The Main. Yeah. So I played keys and guitar.
Oh, that's awesome.
For them for a few years. On
Really?
tour. Yeah, we went all over, and yeah. So that was really fun. And then here, I mean, I played with country artists and pop artists and just tons of people. And kind of when I got here, saying yes to everybody who called, and just learning so many songs. And but it's really fun, and it's great practice. And
Totally.
So yeah, I play bass for some people, mainly guitar, but play bass for a few people, and it's fun to go on the road here and there. And I love it. Like I like doing my own stuff, obviously, but I really enjoy not being the guy sometimes and just being the guitar player.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think it's really fun. So I just did a show in Atlanta with a friend of mine for Halloween, which was super fun. And
that was a good time.
Yeah. So I do a good amount of that stuff. Yeah.
Are you how often would you say you're out of the month? How often are you playing with other people?
I'd say depends on the month, but I mean, this last month probably played with like three artists, 4 artists, or something like that.
Are you on the road a good bit out of the month?
It's been pretty chill. Like it'll be like fly dates or little one-off things. I haven't done like a long tour in a while.
Yeah.
But I also like being home. So
I'm sure.
So yeah,
nice.
If the right thing comes along, I'm totally open to it and would love to. But yeah. So
very cool.
Yeah, man. Trying to balance the two.
Have you done any solo touring with this project? At this stage,
I have. Yeah, not a huge amount, but like I've done kind of regional stuff around here. I've done like North Carolina and other places in Tennessee, Chattanooga, and stuff like that. And then I've done West Coast, a bunch of stuff.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. So when I lived out there, I'd go out play in California a bunch. And
you lived in
Arizona.
Oh, in
so
Arizona,
yeah, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, right.
So yeah,
I knew that.
Lots of West Coast stuff, but usually just solo.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. But like my previous project, which was the pop project, I opened for that band I was the auxiliary guy for. So I played in Brazil and Singapore and
that's cool.
a bunch of cool places opening, and then.
So you're opening for the main.
I'd open for the main, and then play with them also. So that was really fun too.
Were those some tiring nights?
Yeah, but it's like when you're doing.
It's exciting.
Something so cool like that. I feel like I have endless energy at that point. Like it's just so fun, and like you do your set, and then you go and pack up your stuff really quick and change. And because we all like wore matching suits at the time, and like go put on your suit, and then go line check, and then go back, and then go play an hour and a half set.
I'm sure it's just exhilarating though.
Yeah, and it was really kind of them to like have me put me on as the opener. And met a lot of their fans through that, and they're all really awesome people. Yeah. So super grateful for that. Yeah.
How did those relationships begin for you with that group?
Well, they're from Arizona as well, and so kind of same circles over the years with various bands, and it just ended up being a thing where I was like offhandedly, hey, if you ever need anybody, and like, oh, we actually need a drum tech, and I was like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, do you also want to, play? And I was like, yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you say you did some auxiliary stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, I played guitar and keys.
Okay.
And sang harmony. And
I got you. When I hear auxiliary, I think of because I'm a percussionist.
Oh,
so I think
I did shaker and tambourine every now and then.
Hey,
there's a little bit of percussion.
I wouldn't. Come on now.
Yeah. So
you're just a Swiss Army knife of
just filling in the gaps, basically.
I got you.
Just ripping that tambourine.
There's a guy
I believe it.
I know a guy that started playing with the Flaming Lips that way.
Cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Jake from Space Face. They're a really cool psychedelic band.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he started as a tech, and then somehow wound up playing keys.
Okay.
Yeah, just
sick.
like they needed somebody, and so it's interesting that you say that. I didn't know that was like a pipeline that you could.
Yeah, I mean,
just right place, right time.
Apparently, I guess. It just kind of came together in that moment, and cool. But yeah, so I opened with them, and but yeah, I haven't done a huge amount of touring on my own yet, but I definitely want to. It's just figuring to where it can make sense logistically, and because I've done many minivan tours and slept on floors and all that stuff, and I don't know how much of that I'm trying to do right now, but I definitely want to go and play live a bunch. But so hopefully next year.
Cool, that's exciting.
Yeah.
What was your favorite non-US date that you did with them?
So I had actually gone to the Philippines with an old band when I was in college. Like I was like 21.
Oh wow!
And we got on the radio out there somehow. Don't ask me how.
Random. That's so cool. Though.
Ended up getting a lot of fans out there and playing this festival with like All Time Low and Amberlin and all these bands.
Whoa.
Yeah, which at the time was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I think they maybe thought we were bigger than we were.
Yeah.
In the States. we were not a large band. But yeah, so we went out there when I was like 21 and we didn't know what we were doing.
That's such
We
a
literally
crazy
just went, the
experience.
5 of us, without a tour manager or tech or anything.
Wow. How did you all book your own flights and everything, or did you?
I think they booked them for us.
Yeah,
from what I remember. But
we should probably book for these guys.
we should probably help these guys.
Yeah,
out.
it was definitely Coach. But yeah, so went there early 20s, and then went back there with the main, which was really fun. I just think Asia is a really special place. Like they just love music and rock music and American music so much, and the fans are so gracious, and like they'll be at your hotel waiting to hang out with you, and
that's so
you kind of feel like a rock star for sure. And
definitely,
it was really cool. Same thing with South America, like Brazil and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that the South American countries are extremely enthusiastic, and
they have so much passion for music. It's really inspiring, and it's
super cool.
Just like very humbling. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool bands that come out of South America as well. They have like a big appreciation for like psych rock, which there's
really
there's like
like who?
I mean, it wouldn't be people that you probably heard of.
Fair enough.
You haven't heard of them.
Well,
they're kind of underground.
Well, I mean, they are, they literally are pretty underground.
They literally practice underground. Yeah.
There's a band called the Holy Drug Couple.
Okay.
They're out of, I want to say, I think they're from Bolivia, maybe, or something like that. And they're so good. I've been listening, and I didn't even know they were from there until I started looking into them. And I was like, and then I started stumbling across all these other bands that are kind of all in the same scenes together, and some of those countries are kind of close to each other. So like Central South America, they tour around and stuff.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I hope to go back there with my current stuff or my new stuff coming out. So yeah, we'll hope so. Yeah, like those people will kind of reach out on social media every now and then, and it's just like, come back to Brazil, and I'm just like, I would love to, man. I'm working,
make it make sense.
I'm working on it, man. Please,
like get the financials figured out.
Yeah, honestly. So it's definitely a dream to go back there, and I'm sure it will happen sooner or later.
That's
but
cool.
Yeah.
Do you prefer more of the road stuff, or are you a homebody? If you could choose,
you could say, I mean, lately I might lean more towards homebody, but I think it's just a matter of the context. Like if the people you're with are great, and it's a great fit, and the environment is great, and the right thing for you, I think it's just so fun. I mean, what's more fun than playing music with your friends, right?
Yeah.
And waking up somewhere new every day. It's like, oh my gosh. So the taste of that I've had, it's just like, wow, I think it's like when you are aligned with like your, not to say purpose, but like with what your spirit and your heart wants to do, it's like, I think you unlock this energy, and it's like you have just so much. I personally just, if I'm on a song and it's like really feeling amazing and I'm just like unlocking something, it's like I'll work all night on it. Yeah. And there's no stopping for dinner. There's no, it's all consuming. And so I think, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm really enjoying my time at home these days. Like I like a peaceful, comfy house, and like, and just connecting with nature, and like I go for walks every day. It's very domestic. Yeah. But I love it. But touring can be so fun. Yeah. But it can be also really hard. So I think for me, I'm just trying to assess like if it's the right, depending on the situation, like, and if I can do it long term. But I love playing live. Yeah. I think just as much. It's so different than being in the studio, but it's I think it's hard to pick. I couldn't just pick one. I feel like I would
very
miss
different too.
I would miss one or the other so much.
For sure.
And so
I couldn't imagine doing one or the other.
Yeah, I think so. Finding in my life the balance where those two can coexist, however much of each one. But
works itself out too.
Yeah.
What spots do you typically play around town when you're doing your original stuff?
Let's see. So I've done, right when I got here in 2022, like a week after I moved here, I played at Basement East, opening for some friends. And so I had like a full band and everything, and a lot of my friends, and my roommate from Arizona who played with me. And so that was really great. I've done Basement, the Basement. Yeah. Good few times. I've done a few things at the Ryman Plaza, like outside. Oh, cool. Before various shows, like Jason Isbell was one. And
that's pretty cool.
Those are so fun, man. And just like people walking by and like people waiting for the show. But it's like, I don't know. It's always really fun, and it sounds great, and the production's great. And
I'm sure you meet a lot of cool people doing that.
Yeah, so I've done 2 of those. Those are great. So those are probably my favorite ones. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you ever get roped into Broadway?
I've done a couple things.
Have you?
Yeah, I've done a couple things, but not currently.
Yeah.
I just
good for you.
I respect.
It's a grind, dude.
Yeah, I don't. I have respect for it, and I don't know if it aligns with me right now.
Fair enough.
I think I don't know all the country songs is the problem.
Yeah.
You don't know all 400 of the country songs?
There's like 40 songs.
You don't know all the solos to all the songs note for note? Yeah. It would be like an effort of like, I think a month at least for me to just like shed all those tunes and be ready to go to where I'd be comfortable. Like,
there's like a playlist that people send around. That's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Broadway.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you've been
who
sent
is
the
this?
link. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Broadway.
He's been sent the link.
I've been sent the link. Yeah.
Have you received the link?
Dude.
Yeah, it's like 40 songs that are all just the Broadway staples. It's a 3-hour set,
Yeah.
you know, basically.
Dude,
But I mean, I have played down there. I've
Yeah.
done Whiskey Jam many times,
Dope.
and various other places down there.
Have you ever done Inglewood Lounge?
I've sat in at the jam there a couple of times
Really?
on Sundays. Yeah,
It's a
I feel
great
like,
jam.
I feel like
Yeah.
were we there for, it was like a curated singer-songwriter night thing.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Couple
It was like
ago.
a Saturday
Or a
or
month
something. They had Nordista Freeze played. We went for him.
Okay.
He's a great local artist. Yeah, and it was like not like a songwriting round, but it was each person would do like 3 songs.
It was really good though. It was,
It was great.
I feel like that you would fit that vibe.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love
Yeah,
hanging
you
out
totally
there.
would.
Yeah.
It's a great time. Yeah, just down the street for me
Yeah.
and you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
it's not that far.
Come on now.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many great spots to play
Yeah.
in town, but yeah, those
Yep.
are some of my favorites.
A lot of good DIY spots.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, this is a total gear shift.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you run another account that
Yeah.
is like vibes. It's just
Yeah.
a vibe account. Can we talk about that? I wanna
Sure.
know
I don't
about
think
the-
I've ever been asked about that. So
Yeah.
let's go.
I was doing my research, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want to talk about this. Yeah, I saw there was
yeah.
the caption was just like summertime, and it was like Harrison Ford looking so cool.
Oh, yeah.
In, like,
I mean,
maybe
when is he?
late
When is he
70s.
not?
I mean, he's always
honestly,
looking
yeah.
cool, but
Truth,
Yeah.
truth.
it was like, it was like post Star Wars probably, and he looked like the Marlboro Man or something like that. So yeah, walk us through
Man,
where did that come from?
That's been around for a bit under various names. It was kind of like started as a mood board for me, just like, big fan of Steve McQueen and Paul Newman and all those guys. And it just started as that. And it still basically is just a mood board of stuff I like that I like to post, that I come across. It's really, I forgot it was even in my bio.
yeah, it's right there.
But yeah, it's just kind of, I guess my, what'd you call it, Pinterest board on Instagram, right? Of just like vibes I like and musicians and actors and places where I take in.
Are you pulling from
information.
Pinterest? Or
Sometimes. I'm not
I don't want to expose your
No,
source
please.
or
You're
anything
fine.
like that.
You're fine. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing too much
Yeah.
on there. I'm kind of a novice, but sometimes. But
Yeah.
mainly just like online, just looking at stuff
Yeah.
and but yeah, it's a fun just way to, put things on my camera roll out sometimes and just like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like,
It's like something I thought looked
classic
cool.
style. Yeah, I'm really into like classic timeless style.
Yeah.
And I like old movies and I like all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, it's just it's a lark, it's a fun thing. Yeah.
Are you a movies with the sound off while working on music person?
Ooh,
That's a vibe.
I sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't really have the monitor space for that in my
Yeah.
studio, or I mean, I wish I did. Maybe I need to mount like a TV.
You just get like a cheap TV.
but I have friends who will be tracking something that's just like
yeah,
Jurassic Park is on, and it's like it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll like watch movies or watch TV shows on the couch and just play guitar. That's like a very relaxing thing for me.
sure.
Just even with the sound off and just
Yeah.
like hang.
Just have it.
Yeah,
played.
yes, absolutely. So in my dream studio, yes, there will be a
Yeah.
TV.
You get a projector with,
just-
a wall.
Yeah,
you
with
know,
just
big
James
TV.
Dean and all that stuff
Yeah.
on loop.
I was at
Yeah.
a party or it was like a house show situation, and they had a old TV set up with
Mm-hmm.
just somebody had taken like a bunch of old clips of random things and put it on a VHS tape.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was just playing it and just rewinding it and playing it again
Yeah.
on this TV, and it was so cool. You just walk by and it'd be like a random like street parade thing,
Right.
from like 1993.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Vibes.
Just,
Nothing but
just the
vibes.
vibe box.
That's
of
what
the-
Schulman's does, right? They do that cool thing.
Mm.
You been to
Yeah.
Schulman's?
Schulman's has wrestling, like Ric Flair era
Yeah.
wrestling going on.
But they do
It's
that cool
amazing.
thing where they put like the projector behind the TV,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it looks like the TV's playing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it makes it
Okay.
look even older.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
That would be something I'd love to do, like live,
Yeah.
pending copyright issues.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
But like having a projector on a TV or something like that. Or
Do you run into copyright issues with covers?
No.
Okay.
Anything that's for sale, like iTunes, Spotify, like it's all licensed.
Okay.
Like I buy the mechanical
yeah.
license for it. And then I think, I mean, you're welcome to post, I think, covers of anything.
Yeah. They
anywhere.
can't stop you from doing that.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't yet. Yeah. So yeah, no issues so far. Yeah.
Because they're good about that. Like we, what did it come up? I posted a clip where I'm launching like a masterclass online lesson course site tomorrow, actually.
Oh, wow.
And there was just the shortest snippet of a song in this YouTube clip of one of the classes. 10 seconds at most. And YouTube caught it right away. It wasn't even the mixed version. It was just the producer's thing that he sent to the mixer.
Yeah.
And YouTube still caught it. Like,
Dang.
No one's safe out there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they monetize my videos for sure. Like,
Yeah.
all the copyright stuff. But
Are you allowed to make money off covers? Yeah, it's a split, right? That you get
I think you pay. I kind of have somebody who handles it, but like you basically pay for the amount of units you think you're going to sell. If you sell more than that, I think you pay more. But I don't know. I think for Spotify, it's pretty much like whatever.
Yeah, just,
like I don't know if that is ever a thing where something gets taken down. Like
right.
But I just do it anyway to be safe.
Yeah.
But,
Fair enough.
Yeah, just get the mechanical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you do?
I had some. What?
Oh,
I've totally forgot what I was going to ask. And so
you're good. Yeah.
do you want to do another
Yeah,
tune?
do you want to do another tune?
Yeah. Let's do it, man. I'm gonna get this 12-string.
Dim the lights.
Thought I saw you in a dream, swore that you were back here next to me. Call a pretty spade a spade, love was here and now it's gone again. And I heard you singing soft down the kitchen hall. Pretty songbird, she was here then flew off in the fall. Long before the things you said, knew I saw the leaving in your eyes. Now I'm gone, headed west, where we used to walk side by side. You and I, side by side. Felt you in the canyon cold, Arizona's growing old to me. Twilight in a drive-by town, everyone here's fixing up to leave. I knew it was you, like a mirror in the sky out on the highway. Under red moon, cigarettes and songs of yesterday. Long before the things you said, knew I saw the leaving in your eyes. Now I'm gone, headed west, where we used to walk side by side. You and I, side by side. You and I, side by side. Side by side. Woo-hoo. Side by side.
earning it. He's earning it.
Yeah, I'm earning my commission.
It was a great song.
I know.
You missed it.
I'm sorry, I missed
You'll
it.
have to watch the episode.
It's all right.
I'll catch it I'll mix it. So,
Oh, yeah.
I'll hear
I
it a
forgot
bunch
about
of times. Dude, I'm excited to hear the 12 string. That's going to be awesome.
Dude, that
It's
thing's
fun,
a
man.
Beauty.
Yeah, so how
It's a
long have you
beauty.
had that guy? The 12
Also
string?
not very long.
Really?
Just a couple months. Yeah.
Those guilds are really nice. I used to work
Yeah.
at Guitar Center, and those were like,
yeah.
I would like play one of those at my during my lunch break all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that must have been fun. Having access to all that gear.
Oh yeah, because you'd run. There was a Sprouts next door, and they
Okay.
make really good made-to-order sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have a Sprouts in Nashville?
No, that was only
It's
Boulder.
near you, kind of. It's down.
Oh, is there one?
It's down south.
Dude, go to Sprouts, get the made-to-order sandwich. They're so good, and they're cheap. It's like $6, and you get like a drink and chips. So I would run over there,
pretty good.
Yeah.
eat that really fast, run back, ask for keys, and go unlock the most like expensive guitar and plug into the Friedman and like rock
man.
out for a little bit.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that was probably one of the only redeeming things about that
Yeah.
job.
Paying your dues. Paying your dues.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
gotta do it.
absolutely.
yeah. Have you done a stint in a Guitar Center?
I have
ever?
not. But I mean,
dodged the bullet.
there's still time, I guess, right?
It's never too late
It's never too late.
Never say never.
until they go out of business. But yeah, it's never
Yeah,
too
they've,
late.
Only, they've only gone bankrupt for the 4th time this year, but
Hey,
Nice,
I
nice.
have not. I'm just a customer, occasional
customer.
customer. Yeah,
and okay, do you ever watch the Rig Rundowns?
yeah. Every now and
Like, you know John Bollinger, one of the guys that he has like the cool hair.
then. Okay,
It's like his
I
hair
think
is
so.
very distinct.
Okay, yeah.
I saw him at Guitar Center, and I was like,
Nice.
It was like one of those, I was almost more starstruck seeing him than like if I were to see an
Yeah.
actual celebrity, like a big celebrity, because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like I see that guy on my computer screen all the time.
It is bizarre, man.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
like
You've taught me so much, man.
it's like,
I wouldn't
I
be
love
the
your
same
Rig
without
Rundowns,
you.
man.
Did you tell him that?
No, he was already
Oh,
talking to
man.
a guy, and I was like,
He was already talking about rig
yeah,
Rundowns.
yeah, exactly. I could tell, and he was like, you could tell he's a really friendly guy, but I was like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
like,
you got to
go.
read the room.
Yeah, read the
right.
room. You know,
Read
like,
the Guitar Center.
I want if I'm going to talk to somebody
large
that I
room.
recognize from not real life, you know, I want them to think that I'm cool. So if not talking to them is the best option, I'll probably do that. You know, just to
You
Just
are
do you,
cool,
man.
Jackson.
You got
You
this.
are cool.
You got this.
Come on.
you don't want to be like annoying to people
Yeah, fair
if
enough.
you can help it.
Fair enough.
It's usually that's my philosophy personally.
Yeah.
Have you had any side jobs? Taco Bell? Uber?
No, I contemplated doing Uber, but I
Sure.
never pulled the trigger. I mean, I was a server back in the day. I was a busboy. I was a lifeguard
Oh yeah.
for many
You've
years.
got lifeguard vibes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there could be like girls that would want their life saved by you, you know?
That's a really nice compliment.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Are you still certified?
We'll
you
talk
keep
about.
your CPR.
I'm out of date on that. Yeah.
Shoot.
We'll talk about that later. Lifeguard. Man, that's about it.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate. Like I did teach guitar lessons to kids. Worked at School
Oh,
of
you did
Rock
say that.
for a little
Yeah, I
bit.
was gonna ask, was it
Dude,
School
I
Rock?
did School of Rock back in Colorado too.
Yeah, it was a,
was-
li-
it was
a little
alright.
brutal, man.
Yeah.
I maybe something was not right, but like I would sub and I would just there'd be like 7 lessons back to back with no breaks, and I'd just be like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Dude, my thing is they like told me what to teach. Like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, we
I've been
talked
doing
about
this
that
forever.
a few,
Like, no.
a few podcasts ago. We were talking
Yeah.
about that.
We actually had a School of Rock band on.
Yeah, there you
in
go.
Plein Air.
They
Nice.
met at School of Rock.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
man!
is
If that
cool.
stuff
Success
was
story.
around when I was like starting, wow,
No.
everything could have been different. You know?
Yeah.
Where could you have been?
Yeah.
I know there's so many people that come out of School of Rock. I think there's been like some famous people. We'd have to look back at the episode or something.
I wonder.
I think JD
Yeah, they-
Beck and Domi.
That's right.
Were
Okay.
School of Rock.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah.
Gosh, can you imagine?
That's
Like,
crazy.
There's like kids covering like AC/DC and then JD and Beth like.
yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah.
This isn't your average School of Rock bear.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, man. And so yeah, odd jobs here and there. I've dabbled in photography.
Cool, fun. Photography's fun.
Yeah, I enjoy it just as a hobby.
Yeah.
Like I was just in Europe for a few weeks, and I really enjoyed taking pictures. And
Yeah,
brought
dude.
my camera, and
It's
yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've been lucky to just since I moved here basically with nothing lined up. Mm-hmm. I had made an EP out here the year before. Like I flew out a few times and recorded songs and spent a good amount of money and had amazing people play on it. Mm-hmm. And did that whole experience, which was great. And then I just was like, oh man, I really like it out here. I need a change.
Yeah.
And then, but I really just came without anything lined up. And so definitely for the first 6 months or so, it was just like, banking on your savings and doing a $100 gig here and there.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I'm still going. So,
how did you manage to play the Basement East your first week here?
Basically, cool. I was just I was opening for some friends of mine who they're from Arizona, but they were touring through.
They were coming through town,
headlining, and so we just opened the show.
It's a strong start.
Yeah, it was really fun.
You at least feel pretty good. Like,
it did feel good.
Maybe this will work out.
It was fun. Yeah. Those are some friends from Arizona. The Somerset. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like a pop rock band. Yeah, they're great.
That's awesome. Where are they based out of from Arizona?
Well, they were in Phoenix for a while, but I think now they're kind of spread out in mainly LA. Yeah, but
nice.
They're great. Yeah,
that's super exciting.
Yeah,
that you got to do that.
Yeah, it's I love playing there. It's really fun. So
you're surrounding yourself with good people.
I try to. I've been lucky in that regard, definitely. Yep. Yeah, but there's a lot of talent out here. So many great people, and it's really a smaller community than I ever thought it was.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know.
100%.
It feels like a town.
Yeah, it is a town.
Yeah.
Man, it's already, you go to any coffee shop or bar, it's like, oh, hey. See somebody.
It's the best part. Like,
it's fun, man.
Like, we're going to go to your show. Jackson has a show tonight. And
plug it. Yeah, give us a plug.
The 5 spot, come on down. Well, you're going to see this in the future.
It's already happened, but it was great.
Backlogged,
but I'm having
like 5 weeks.
Yeah. So by the time you see this, I'll be having a house show at my house. It's a Christmas party. You got to wear ugly sweaters, and it's my own personal residence. So please don't break anything.
DM for the address.
Yeah, DM for address.
I like the foresight. That's really good.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. I'm like, wait a minute.
I don't know what I'll have going on. So,
well, you're invited.
TBD about that. Yeah,
but it's cool because like you'll go anywhere in Nash, and you can pretty reliably run into someone that like, oh, what's going on? Like, really, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
just getting coffee.
We were at. You ever go to the pub? The Village Pub.
Oh, it's my hang, man,
dude. It's a hang.
It's like
we're gonna run into you next time we're there. Probably.
Yeah, I was there a couple days ago. Yeah.
We love it.
It's great, man.
That's like our post podcast.
Oh, nice.
Spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
And we ran into somebody, and you started talking to him, and he walks away, and I was like, "Oh, who's that?" And you go, "Oh, this is Corey Wong's drummer." And I was like,
"Oh, Pitar." Yeah.
And I was like, "What?"
He's awesome. Yeah.
It's just crazy. Great. Like, or we were at Frothy Monkey last week, and whoever was sitting like one table over from us, I don't know who it was, but he was legit, because we just kept catching these tidbits of like,
nice.
Oh yeah,
the eavesdropping was strong.
Yeah, we were eavesdropping really hard, but he just kept saying stuff that was like, you're like a dog, like hearing their favorite words.
Yeah.
He's like
trying to keep your conversation going.
Yeah,
just like
we got
really
this
listening.
Peripheral, like okay, he worked at Sony for a bit. All right, got it.
Dog hearing the favorite words. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
What is that?
Outside.
Yeah, outside. That's so true.
Yeah, but it's just like, you can go anywhere in town and there's just all these people that are doing the same thing.
It's so fun, dude.
It's honestly surprising when you talk to someone and they don't play an instrument or something, and you're like,
right.
Oh, are you lost?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I find it encouraging and also challenging.
Yeah, because you feel like
an equal measure almost. Yeah.
You start to be like, oh my God, everybody's doing this. Like, why me over anyone else?
Like,
or why them over me?
Moving to Nashville as a guitar player. That is a choice to make.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You're entering a sea.
You are entering a pool.
Yeah, a large one. Well, and it's the question, the age old, do you want to be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond? And yeah.
What if I don't want to be a fish?
Yeah. I don't think any of us do.
What if I'm a land mammal? I don't know.
I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Right. Gotta let me fly, man. But I just think like, especially lately, I love the community aspect of living here, but I also know that a lot of it has to be like me doing things my way, at least for right now.
Sure.
I know that hopefully won't always be the case, but everything I do is super DIY.
Yeah.
Like from recording and mixing my stuff, but also, I mean, my album art, it's like me with a tripod a lot of the time, and I'll make it in Photoshop and do all the graphic design. And last record, filmed all the videos myself. I had like a video for every song on that covers record, basically.
Oh.
And just filmed it,
What was the strategy there with how you wanted to film them and like what you wanted to capture with that?
Basically, I just wanted a visual aspect for every song that kind of matched the vibe of what I was going for. And so some of it was done in the Smoky Mountains at like a cabin, and all in different locations. And it just felt, I know how important visuals are to me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have a strong like thing on YouTube, and something I could break up into multiple shorter videos. But yeah, so it's just so DIY at the moment, which I kind of like, which brings me back to like how it was starting out.
Yeah.
Learning how to do all this, learning how to somewhat do the business side of things. But yeah, it's an interesting place to be in, but I'm enjoying it. And it's just like, I usually have a pretty clear vision for how I want something to be, whether it's a mix or a artwork or anything like that. I usually kind of know what I want. And so I've just kind of by default started making it all myself.
And, try to tell somebody how to do it.
Not to say I want that it to be that way always. Like it'd definitely be nice to grow a team around it. But it's been working, I think, so far, and I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
So, what do you do for a team? You said you had some guy that was helping you out earlier.
Oh, that was just with licensing the covers. That was like just a guy at this business who does the licensing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't have like a.
Let me call my licensing guy.
Let me call my
quick.
covers guy.
Yeah. My covers guy, my original guy.
Born in the USA. Is it a go? All right. All right. Not yet. We're working on it. We're working on it.
I'll have a guy for everything eventually.
Yeah. I like that approach though. Like we had someone came in for a podcast, not our podcast, another podcast, and they had a artist management lady on, and she's like, "Yeah, we just let the artists do what they want to do. Like we don't really touch it. Like when they need help with something, like we'll help them out with it, which is usually like booking shows and whatnot. But it's like we let them run their Instagrams. Like we don't want to touch it because then it gets diluted and then it's not authentic, which is the hot word.
Yeah, it is a hot word.
It's a hot word.
Like you can tell sometimes that when it is not the person posting things.
Yeah,
dude, you can smell bullshit from a mile away.
Yeah,
you always can.
Yeah.
And
I'm just so particular about everything from how big the text is on the video to what font it is to what the cropping of it is to what the photo grid. I'm just very intentional with
Rule
it all.
Of thirds and whatnot.
I mean, we would hope, right? But it's just that's just the way I do it, I guess. And it's not like I'm trying to be a certain way, but it's just that's what I like. But I do have a kind of way, especially in the last year, that I've started doing things, and it seems to be going all right. And but yeah, it's a full-time job just posting everything. So,
dude.
I think it's sorry, were you gonna say
no.
I was just gonna say I think it's so interesting. The more we talk to people on this podcast, the more you realize how much of a DIY town Nashville is. Because the outsider perspective is like, oh, the industry, and like they see the upper crust of it. But it's like everybody else that's here is kind of, there's like, people are taking ideas from each other, not taking, but you know what I mean? Like,
well,
and also that. There's good and bad ways of taking ideas, and both are happening. And, so there's kind of like various guidelines maybe that you could follow, but everybody's kind of doing it their own way still. Everybody's sort of, there's like certain ways to do content right, but then everybody's finding their own way within that to sort of promote themselves and just their presentation. It's very interesting. I love it though. I think it's so cool.
Well said. I think it's really cool to see. And just see how like the industry itself is most certainly changing towards that.
Right.
Too, just like because people have so much more control.
Yeah.
And cool
definitely there's a lot of, which I get, which is the artist thing of like, oh, I don't want to do this. Why do I have to do this? This is not what I signed up for. I want to just write songs. And I feel that too. Like there's days that go by like, when do I write the songs? Like I'm just,
when's the song?
I'm on email, I'm on, graphic design, I'm editing this video, I'm trying to book things, I'm posting on 4 or 5 platforms. It's like, when do you write the songs again?
When do you be an artist?
Somehow I managed to here and there, but and I see that, but I also think it's all your attitude. Anything in life is your attitude, and so if you come at it with a good mindset to where this is gonna be a thing that shows my music to new people who wouldn't know about it, then it's great, and then maybe it doesn't feel like as much of a chore. At least for me. I mean, it definitely feels like a chore sometimes, but
that's been my reframed mindset around it. You know, it's like you got to reframe things to yourself to make it feel different.
You do.
And it's like, wait a minute, this is like with TikTok in particular. I made a video that it didn't like go viral or anything, but like it got a couple hundred likes, which is way more than any of my other band TikToks have done. Okay. And it was just like me chiming in on something that was going on TikTok where there's this song that was like getting discussed a bunch. And I just like put my thoughts in text form and filmed myself. Okay. And then it got way more traction than any other video I posted on there. And I'm like, maybe that's valuable in some way. Like maybe my thoughts on a thing, maybe I can articulate myself in a way that resonates with people. And then it changed the way I looked at it, where it was like, oh, maybe I can just keep making videos like this where I'm like, offering an opinion on something just because I have thoughts about something, and maybe somebody will resonate with that. And
totally.
It's valuable.
So, just like changed the way I viewed it. Like you were saying, it's like, this is an opportunity for people to like connect with me, and then maybe they see my music as a result of that.
It is. And I'm not over here like with the camera, like, hey guys, it's Adam. I mean, on my Patreon, I am sometimes. I do that too, but the most forward-facing stuff, it's like I just try and capture things I like, and it's really lately been this combination of music and nature and like outdoors, and those are like 2 of my favorite things in life, and 2 huge passions of mine, and combining them in whatever way I think is like the way forward for me, and you know, I just it's been fun. Like I'm getting to travel and then film content and put out things and incorporate that into my original stuff with like making a video here and a video there. But it really is, at the end of the day, it's a game. And I just try and treat it like a game. And like sometimes you throw it out there and it does well. And then sometimes you throw something out there you think is going to do well and it doesn't. And that's okay. There's always tomorrow. You just try again. It's all good. You know, sometimes you feel a little cringe doing something. It's like, well, who cares, man? Like if somebody's going to think less of me because of that, then that's fine. Like maybe they're not meant to be around for this. Like,
it's a good attitude.
I mean, I've found a lot of amazing people who are super supportive of like my music, and it's kind of baffling sometimes. It's really amazing, and just these people will from wherever in the world will just send these messages, and it's just like, oh my gosh,
that's so cool.
Like, I think being around musicians all the time, it's just like really easy to get discouraged when you're not seeing results from your stuff, or you're not seeing the results you want. But me just going inward and being like, oh, like, you never know how things are affecting people. You never know what a song is going to do and who it can reach, even if it has a couple thousand listens or less. It's like, that could be really important to somebody. And if you were to not to do that, then they would lose that. And so it's like just this idea of, oh, is it helping anybody? Is it, you know, maybe coloring somebody's experience of life? Which is what my favorite music does for me. So it's like, that's all I can hope to do. I'm not trying to like do anything crazy. Like I said, I just want to make some cozy tunes and and travel around and be cozy and be outside and play guitar in the woods and maybe somebody will come along.
Is that where you do a lot of your writing? You go outside
I mean, a fair bit. A lot at home, honestly. But as you know, I'm sure it's like it comes out wherever. It comes out in the car on a drive, and you just say a little line or you write down a title. It's always different, but I have endless voice notes that I need to go through and finish writing.
That is
the struggle right now.
There. I started doing riff of the day to like purge my voice notes.
Riff. There you go.
But I haven't stuck with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no,
I need to though. I ended up just posting different stuff, and like that's the other thing too. I think that I like to see, or that I admire other people doing, is having consistency. That's the key. Is the consistency.
Yeah, it's hard though sometimes. Like just the other day, I was like, you know, driving 5 hours in a van all day and like dealing with other stuff and not on Wi-Fi. It's like, oh, what am I going to do today? You know, I need to post something. And so it's definitely difficult sometimes. Or when you're like flying to another country or you're on a different time zone, it's like,
you got to post today.
But at the end of the day, I could be doing a real job. I could be doing manual labor somewhere or something very difficult and not fun and very hard. So I'm trying to stay grateful.
Take the wins.
And
well said.
It's a game. It's a fun little thing. And at the end of the day, if it can show your stuff to more people, then it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. But yeah, just kind of going my own way at the moment.
Yeah.
And seeing where it takes me. And it's been fun though. And it's been really nice to have this connection online with people and affirming, you know,
what you're doing
in a world where a lot of the time it's not affirming for an artist. Like, oh, what you're doing is good. Keep doing it.
Yeah. That's
like,
huge.
I don't think as artists we do that enough to each other even. It's like, hey, I really like what you're doing. I think you're great. Keep it up. Like, we don't say that to each other, at least in a lot of ways. And
we should be saying that to each other more.
I mean, we're all in it together, I think. And we all have the same issues and the same days where we feel like it's not working out and we don't want to do it.
What am I doing with my life?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's just you're expressing yourself and you can only see things through your eyes and share that perspective. And so don't try and be anybody else. Just try and share your experience.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't feel like it's the right time, like stylistically, like with, you know, even if you don't feel like it's that kind of music's time, it will be eventually. Like, I mean, I see inklings of like the 70s stuff. Yeah. Definitely. But a couple of years ago, it wasn't. I don't think that was a thing at all. Even with country, it wasn't as much of a thing.
No, not at all.
And so, yeah, just do what you like to do and don't worry about it being cool.
Yeah, just
necessarily.
I love that.
Yeah, like it'll come around.
Yeah.
It's good, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All 9 billion people on the planet will not like it. There's not going to be one. Not one person is going to like what you did. Like, it's probably not the case. Just like, you just
somebody's
keep doing
out there for what you're making.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude. Well, I love that thought.
You want to do one more?
Sure.
Before we do it.
Oh, do we have a?
Yeah.
Give me some plugs. Where can people find you?
Oh, man.
Where can they find your Patreon? Where can they find?
Absolutely. You can find my stuff everywhere, basically. Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming things. I do have a Patreon where I share behind the scenes stuff. I share new songs. I do live streams all the time and behind the song. I just posted I basically put up a camera while I was tracking guitar on a song and through all the mistakes and the redos and I just let it run for 15 minutes or whatever and I just uploaded that. And so it's very me showing more than I normally would on Instagram or something. Yeah. And so I do have a Patreon. You can find it. Links on my Instagram or it's just patreon.com/Adam Simons. But yeah, anywhere. I mean, you have to be everywhere. So I try to be all those places where people could find you.
Yeah, man.
And I do have a new single coming out, which I'm going to play next, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
When is it coming out?
It's coming out November 22nd.
Okay.
So a couple weeks now. That's okay.
Backed up?
We're backed up, baby.
Good. I can just say it's my new single.
Yeah.
Because it might still
it's
be
probably out right now. Go check it out.
It might very well be out right now.
Yeah, I mean, edit as you will. But yeah, for sure.
Very cool, dude.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. This one's called A Little Love.
I'm tired of drinking every night and sleeping on my own. I'm over superficial conversations and I wanna go home. The days are getting colder, my list of friends gets shorter and I live on my phone. And I work to spend my money on things that only make me feel alone. And it seems like the world ain't what it used to be. We forgot what it means to live in harmony. But I'm still looking for where the grass is green. I'll try and see. Maybe everything ain't so wrong. Maybe Maybe you can live forever in a song. Maybe there's something greater up above. Maybe all we need is a little love. What if all we need is a little love? I wonder if the 60s had it right. It's all you really need to make a simple, quiet life. Lately, I'd call that a dream. 'Cause it feels like the days are slipping through the cracks. I see lines on my face, gray instead of black. But I'm still looking out for the good and all the bad, and the beauty in what's sad. Maybe everything ain't so wrong. Maybe you can live forever in a song. Maybe there's something greater up above. Maybe all we need is a little love. What if all we need is a little love? Maybe everything ain't so wrong. Maybe you can live forever in a song. Maybe there's something greater up above, yeah. Maybe all we need is a little love. What if all we need is a little love? I think all we really need is a little love. But I'm here missing you the most. I saw your message on the screen. Wish you were laying next to me. Someday I'd take you to Italy. Wish I was dealt a better hand. Do anything to be your man, but no good heart is ever